when Taylor is going to tell you about...
I love that
I
story.
don't know if I can pronounce that.
I can't understand your accent.
Hello, everybody, mystery seekers. Have we said mystery seekers once this entire time?
I say it every episode.
Okay, great. So it's just me then.
Correct.
Great. Welcome back, mystery seekers, to episode
weird when he
8
says it.
of season 3 of the Mystery Society. Today we're going to be talking about Kaylen Lowder. Kaylen Lowder was born on January 21st, 1984, along with her brother Colton. In 2009, her brother Colton shoots and kills their uncle Jeffrey.
Can you start this one over for me, actually?
Sure, yeah.
I
Kaylen
realize
Lowder-
it's going to be a lot to try and keep up with.
Yeah,
Go
this
ahead.
one's pretty intense.
Yeah.
I'll go from the beginning.
Yeah, please.
Kaylen Lowder was born January 21st, 1984, with her brother Colton.
It's just she's a twin.
Right. Yeah. In 2009, that brother shoots and kills their uncle Jeffrey.
When they're how old?
In 2009, that's...
25?
Yeah, about 25.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, the two of them were into meth. The uncle and the brother.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say.
I thought Kaylyn
twins
was.
do everything
Yeah.
together.
Oh my
okay.
God.
Go
Well,
ahead.
keep that in mind, though, because we don't know what she was up to.
Okay.
So he gets sentenced to 5 years in prison later that year for the murder. Which seems low.
Yes, it does seem low. Very low.
I'm going through the people I could murder in my head.
Her whole life, despite all of this going on with her family, her brother being on meth, what have you, she shows no signs of mental illness or anything odd. She was recently unemployed, and she was frequently unemployed.
Okay.
So her father reported to, well, whoever he reported it to, that she was slightly depressed due to all of that. Her mother, however, said that she was always in good spirits, always updating her resume, and always applying to jobs. She wasn't sulking at home. She was out there hitting the pavement, trying to get more jobs. So, there's audio and there's video separately. So we're just going to take it as it comes.
Okay.
On the night of September 26th, 2014, she makes a call to 911 telling them that she's hearing some kind of aggressive fighting going on at a nearby wedding, and she says that it involves guns.
I'm assuming that the wedding was just in someone's house or yard? A nearby wedding?
It was outside, I
with
know that.
Guns? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what she said, right? She hears aggressive fighting going on. She didn't know it was a wedding. She just said, I heard aggressive fighting.
Oh, okay.
Guns are involved.
Okay.
Real quick, I'll just play you that because I have it.
I did hear the fact that she was very brutal.
Were weapons involved or mentioned?
Yes.
Yes. What kind of weapons?
That's pretty much all that she said. So if you couldn't hear it,
Yes.
she says that she hears a fight that was very brutal. The dispatcher asks if weapons were involved. She says yes. She asks what kind of weapons, and Kaylyn replies guns. So
Okay.
the police show up to the wedding, and they talk to everybody, and they go, "What's going on?" And everyone's like, "Nothing. There's no fighting. No one's yelling. There's no guns." And the police look everywhere, and they go, "Yep, there's no guns here."
What the fuck?
So they go back to the police station. Kaylyn is still at her house. An hour after the police leave, Kaylyn dials 911 again, but hangs up before the call is answered. Police call back, and it sounds like Kaylyn is very confused and sounds as if she's having trouble remembering her address when the dispatcher is asking her about it.
Is there a recording of that?
No. I don't have it, if there is.
Wow, I wish there was.
But it's a very, very, very brief call. From what I could read, it's
Okay.
literally like calls, hangs up, police call back. She's like, what? And they're like, what's your address? And she's like, I'm not really sure. And then the only thing they could really get out of her for sure was she mentioned that her roommate thought she was delusional and paranoid.
Well, I mean, based on her making a call to the cops about guns and then the cops showing up and finding no guns, that makes sense.
The next morning, Kaylyn makes a third 911 call.
Something was wrong with her.
She's frantically claiming that there are two people in her living room who are talking to each other and actively stealing her things.
Oh, no, I remember this now. Oh my God, but I never heard about any of the other stuff.
Yeah. Let me show you.
We have that call?
I have that call, yeah. So she's on with dispatch and she's screaming at the people in her house. So listen to this.
When I have an intruder at my house,
Repeat the address for verification.
they're stealing from my house.
Okay, say your address one more time. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Get the out of my house.
Okay, do you know who this person is?
No, I don't. I just know that there's an intruder in my house.
You don't know who they are.
No, I don't. I'm not going to look from where I'm at 'cause I'm worried about my safety. Please hurry.
Are you at the location now?
Yes, I am.
Were weapons involved or mentioned?
They're not talking or responding. I'm just telling them to leave so I can hear them taking things.
So you haven't seen them, you can just hear them?
Yes, correct.
Are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
I believe so.
Okay, are you able to get yourself to safety?
I just want to answer that while he's here.
I'm sorry, what?
No.
Can you talk freely with me?
Yeah.
Okay, where exactly are you?
I'm in the back bedroom. Karen,
Where did
lock
the
your door.
suspect enter the building?
There's only one door. Get out of my house.
Is there anyone else in the building who belongs there?
Yes, there's 6 apartments.
Okay, is there anybody else in your apartment that should be there?
I believe she is here. I have a roommate.
Where is she at?
Next door to me.
Can you still hear them?
Yes.
Where does it sound like they're at?
The front room. Near the entrance. It's a small place. Shut up.
Are they saying anything?
Yeah, I heard someone say, hey, go in there, so there's obviously 2 of them. Hey, Karen, lock the door. There's something going on there. Come here. Yeah. They might have left.
Okay, what's going on now? They've left now?
Yeah, so I'm just going to look and see if anything's been taken. Someone opened the door, and I heard them come in. Don't do that, Carol. The door's still locked. It's impossible. They must have a key or something. Because when I took the dog out, I heard people talking. And there was people last night, sitting outside the window. And so they, were scoping us out or something. Why is the door still locked? Well, I can't explain that, but I heard, 2 people talking.
That is the last 911 call from Kaylyn. And if you didn't hear it, she's essentially screaming at people to get out of her house. She's saying, get the fuck out. And then she's yelling, shut up. And then her roommate shows up and says that there's no one here. The front door is locked. The bolt's been locked. And Kaylyn's saying, no, I heard people in the living room. I heard 2 people. I don't know how it happened, but I heard them. And she's literally as if talking to a child, trying to walk her through, Kaylyn, that's impossible. The door's locked. How could they be in there if the door is locked? And she's saying things like, they must have had a key. So she's doing all that.
Why would someone else have a key?
Right.
That's a lot to decipher.
That is the last 911 call from Kaylyn. At 3:30 p.m. and 5:45 p.m. the next day separately, Kaylyn is seen on a security camera outside of her condo by an area which leads to a creek. At 3:30, you can see her out in the rain dressed in shorts, a tank top, and no shoes. At 5:45, she's running around out front with her dog. The police say that she's talking to herself as if she's delusional.
I know that video.
But everybody who knows her just says that she's talking to her dog while she's walking it. She would do that all the time.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. You can see her in front in the parking lot, and then she walks into like down a path. Down that path is the gate to her apartment, like where you would open to go to where the house is and all that is. Like you would need a key to get in.
Yep.
The neighbors were reporting that when she walks away in the video, it's because she walks up to the gate and she like crouches down and like she's like got her hands on the bars and she's like sobbing. And then you'll see her turn around and she sprints away from the gate and she leaves her dog, her wallet, and phone all over by the gate.
I'm sorry, does the dog make it?
Yeah. Well, actually, the weird thing is when the police show up, they found the dog inside. So there's speculation that there's actually more footage we don't see of her coming back later, putting the dog inside, and then leaving again. Because no one knows how the dog got inside.
The roommate didn't?
No. So here she is, and she's got her dog. So this is 5:45 p.m. And you'll see her kind of talk to it a little bit. Honestly, looking at this, I don't see how anybody would come to the conclusion that she's somehow
talking to herself?
Yeah, talking to herself. She's clearly
Looking
talking
at
to the
and
dog.
talking to her dog.
Right.
And holding her dog.
So this is when she's sobbing. She leaves her dog at the gate and runs. And so if you ask me, I think that the reports from neighbors that she was at the gate sobbing kind of doesn't make any sense if the dog was found inside. I think maybe when she walks away, she has to put the dog inside. Or there's footage we haven't seen. I don't know which it is. That footage of her running away is the last time she's ever seen.
It really, none of this strikes me as strange. Until she starts running, it doesn't strike me as strange because, I mean, look at it. It's very green. This is obviously warm weather. It's raining. She's outside barefoot. Like,
She's just walking her dog.
yeah, that seems fine, totally normal. Like, nothing seems out of the ordinary until she abandons the dog and her wallet and her phone.
Yep.
And runs away.
Well, really.
This is the only weird
So
part.
what's over there
So over there's the gate to the apartment complex.
that she lives in?
Yeah. So you would have to walk in through that gate to access the buildings.
So who in the world is saying she left her dog?
What do you mean?
She walks off screen towards her
yeah.
apartment with her dog, and the dog is never seen again. Why did she not just go put her dog away and then run away?
Well,
Who's
see,
saying she left her dog?
that's what I'm starting to think happened. The thing is, everybody's saying she left her dog. Nobody is saying anything other than she leaves her dog in the video, and then the dog ends up back inside.
Well, then that's just another piece of information that's getting passed along that doesn't seem to
Yeah.
have any basis.
Yeah,
It looks more like she goes and puts her dog inside, and then runs away.
runs away.
Oh wait, this one says that there's a clip of her bringing the dog back inside. The last clip shows her carrying her dog back into the same location outside.
That is what we just watched.
Yeah.
That is her putting the dog
Her
away.
carrying the dog,
Yeah.
walking away, and then running away.
Well,
Especially
no, but
if it
this
looks
suggests
that car isn't there, and then all of a sudden it is. Like,
Right.
time has passed.
But this suggests that the last clip of her carrying the dog back in is after she runs away. So it's possible this is just out of order.
Yeah, it sounds like it's most likely out of order because it looks like she picks the dog up, walks inside, and then runs away from the apartment. I think with a lot of cases like this that are pretty highly publicized and talked about frequently, a lot of the information can get mixed up. It's almost like playing telephone.
Yeah.
You know, so many people get their hands on this information. It changes just a little bit every single time someone tells the story. And at some point, it's hard to decipher exactly what happened and when it happened. But I think that what we're looking at is her picking up the dog, walking into the house, and then running away from the apartment after putting the dog inside.
Right, yeah.
That's really the only thing that makes sense to me. But what doesn't make sense is why she would have been running away from the apartment in the first place.
Yeah, I think probably what it is I think maybe people who have been commenting on the footage just kind of watch it and they say, oh, she left her dog behind and all this. But maybe that more means that, yeah, she put it inside and ultimately she left everything behind.
Yeah, leaving her dog behind could have just literally meant leaving her dog inside and then never coming home.
Yeah. Again, just to remind you, this all happened September 26th, 2014. On December 2nd of 2014, her body is found in the Jordan River. Police rule there to be no foul play, and they rule it to be a suicide due to her recent unemployment, and her father is saying that she's slightly depressed. Her mother claims that she spoke to Kaylyn the day that she went missing and didn't feel that she was acting out of the ordinary or like anything was wrong or like she was going to commit suicide later that day.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I've seen who have talked about this case, basically where her body was found was 6 miles upstream from her home. And so if there's speculation that she jumped in the river to commit suicide, they think that it's unlikely she was carried that far away from her home, which those guys are speculating that she was murdered and then placed 6 miles away.
Well,
Okay.
But a lot of the theories right now revolve around there being some kind of foul play related to the 911 calls, which is crazy to me.
Because
if
the
you ask
911
me.
calls were completely unfounded. There was nothing there.
Yeah. At one point, Kaylyn told police that she lived in a, quote, don't tell, don't meddle community and was worried about putting her friends in danger by calling 911. So if we're going to
But
go
she
along...
did call 911.
Right. And so if we're going to go along this line of thinking, I think that these people are assuming that, you know, her family's on meth. Maybe she's hanging out with people who do meth. And maybe these 911 calls are founded somehow in reality, even though when the police show up, nothing is found. But maybe people are just viewing her as a snitch because of all the police who are showing up around her house. Whatever may happen, I think these people are assuming someone took her out because of the 911 calls.
Okay.
The theory that I think makes the most sense is that she had some kind of a psychotic break and developed schizophrenia or some kind of psychosis-related illness and somehow ended up in the river after running away from home during a paranoid psychotic episode of some kind.
That's what I think.
So one of the things that's important to remember, so she's 30 years old. The onset for schizophrenia in adults for males is early 20s to like mid 20s. It's actually late teens to mid 20s, I believe. And for women, it's mid 20s to early 30s. And it usually caps at about 30. So while it would be rare for schizophrenia to onset at this point in her life, it's within the range.
It is.
And it's a very real possibility.
And
so,
if her family has any kind of history of mental health issues,
yeah.
it's hard to rule that out. I think it sounds like a mental break.
yeah, that's a really good theory.
Well, one thing that's important to think of with that is the there's no actual cause of death determined.
How?
They say it's exposure. There's no water.
So it wasn't drowning.
No, there's no water in the lungs. It wasn't drowning.
She
it
was
wasn't,
dead before she got in the river.
Right. Well, or she died and fell in the river while she died. I don't know, but she died,
That's
if
wild.
anything, to exposure somehow. And by exposure, I don't mean froze to death. I mean walked around aimlessly with no food and died.
Until she just, yeah.
Yeah. One last theory to mention, which kind of works with this last theory, is if her brother and uncle are both addicted to meth, or were, it's possible that, or at least wouldn't be that far off to assume that Kaylyn could be into meth as well and could have had some kind of a meth-induced psychosis,
Yep.
which put her in a situation that she was unable to recover from 6 miles away from home and died to exposure that way. But without knowing the kind of people she was hanging around or her, you know, dealings with these substances. The other thing is, I believe the amount of time it takes for meth to leave your system in a way that they'd be able to recover from a dead body is like 30 days, and we're talking about months.
Right.
So they couldn't test for it at that point. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, the family has spoken out and said, we know there's more to the story. They've said
Of course there is.
her family deserves answers and she deserves justice. They also said, without influential people and deep pockets, our family fears we are left to accept what the authorities have speculated, but we know this was not an accident. We will continue to investigate and do whatever we can to seek truth and justice for sweet Kaylyn.
Wow.
So I think eventually the
That's
cause
really
of death,
sad.
since they didn't have an actual cause of death, I think they changed it at some point from a suicide to an accident and assumed that she just, I don't really know. I guess just assume that she ended up somewhere she shouldn't have for whatever reason, not really looking into why she was there. And then Yeah, but originally it was ruled a suicide, which I think is unfounded.
Yeah,
almost
I do
entirely.
too. I don't think it was a suicide.
And with everything else going on, I mean, that you can hear in her voice in the second 911 call.
She's scared.
She's terrified and she thinks it's real.
Yeah.
And when she's brought with evidence that it isn't, she almost sounds like her world is falling apart.
Yeah, she doesn't believe that. She doesn't
Right.
believe that it's not happening.
Yeah, it's this and the Eliza Lamb case just fucking annoy me because it's so these people need help.
Yeah.
And for maybe not for Eliza Lamb, but possibly there was a lot of evidence that she needed help. But for Kaylyn, I mean, there's recorded evidence that we just listened to of her clearly needing help.
Yep.
I mean, the police should have done some kind of a mental health exam on that last 911 call.
Yep.
Or anything. I don't know. I don't know what needed to happen, but she needed help.
I think a lot of the cases that we've covered speak pretty highly to mental health crises. With Timothy and his mother,
Yep. Yeah.
with Eliza Lamb, now with Kaylyn. There seems to be a recurring theme here with a lot of these ending in a discussion of there was a mental break, she was suffering with something, and that makes it a lot more sad for me, because just thinking about how many people do suffer with unrecognized or untreated mental illnesses. I mean, it's not even the last time that something like this could or will happen to someone. It's scary.
Yeah, it's really important to both get help and realize when someone else needs help.
Yeah.
Because her roommate, I mean...
Her roommate should have had her institutionalized literally right then.
Yeah,
her roommate
obviously-
should have turned around and called 911 and
Yeah.
been like, my roommate has, been weird for a few days. Something is wrong. She needs help.
Yeah.
If you're spending that much time with someone and...
Unless they're both on meth.
Yeah, I mean,
that's-
unless
yeah.
the roommate was also into drugs and didn't want to get anyone involved and
Yeah.
basically out herself as
Yeah.
a user.
Or the other thing is if the roommate was covering up for her friends who were bad people, and maybe all the stuff that
Maybe.
happened in the 911 calls did happen, and the roommate
she's just
kept going,
gaslighting
nope,
her?
nope. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now that we've
That's a terrifying
moved
theory.
past your likely theories, can I? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, hit me.
So
Hit me
your
before.
theory is 100% spot on. I don't really have any reason to argue against it. I
Okay.
think that's most likely what happened. But may I point out a very important number that we've not discussed?
Yeah.
And that is, how many years after 2009 was 2014?
5.
Yeah. Have we heard the 5 years before in this case?
What are you talking about?
Have we perhaps heard a 5-year sentence given to somebody in 2009?
Oh.
Wow,
Near
we're
her
stupid.
brother.
Yeah, we're fucking idiots. Taylor's like, no, come on.
I've been
hold on.
waiting to say this for so
Spoon-feeding
fucking
us
long.
the answers.
So
So
you think
2014, her meth addict, family murdering brother gets out of jail, and she starts freaking out about shit. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it's a weird coincidence that, like, if
I mean, she could have started spending time with him and using drugs with him.
it's a twin thing.
is that what you were implying? Was they were using meth together, or that he killed her?
I was saying he killed her, but also that makes more sense too. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I was just like, it could also be as you just said, late teens to early 20s is when schizophrenia sets in. If he's doing meth and he's schizophrenic, that could be why he killed his uncle.
Well, if you have a theory for what happened to Kaylyn Louder, please let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching this episode of the Mystery Society. Tune in next week when Taylor's going to tell you all about Gary Sudbrink. Take care.
Bye.